my father passed away during the application process, and I remember texting one of the producers the day that I got home from the hospital, the same day. I said, "Listen, my father just passed away. I need to be on the show to make him proud, to show him." You know what I mean? I said that the same day, and by the grace of God, whatever the case is, I made it on the show. And for me, I just wanted to have a platform to tell my story and show what I do and things like that. And Gordon Ramsay, one of the most influential, one of the most well-known, respected chefs. He's one of the few chefs that actually, a personality chef, TV personality chef. Some people might call him or think of that, but he's a real chef. He's he he's no, like there's no like don't get it twisted. Like this isn't like you know what I mean? This isn't no. He has 3 Michelin stars for some odd years.
What's going on? What's up? It's your boy, it's your host, Jamar Jones, as we get into another killer episode of the Foureva podcast. It's going to be an absolute impactful episode. We talk about things that are business and things that are personal because business is personal. And I'm your host, Jamar Jones. I'm the founder of Foureva Media. I'm also a national speaker and the author of the book, Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. And we're definitely going to get into some of that conversation today, which I'm super excited as we got a guest that actually I connected with on Instagram. And honestly, I just started following the story. That's actually where it started. I saw kind of like, hey, he was kind of looking to kind of advance some things within his own world. And I was just intrigued, got connected, and then I started to plug myself in to see what he was doing. And I started to see like these similar circles started to happen where I was like, oh, I know that person. I know this person. So like we got to have him on the podcast and really just talk to him and see what's going on. So we got Sakari in the building, man. Welcome on the podcast, man. What's going on?
Woo! Let's go. Look at that fire intro. Let's go. Come on, man. Come on, man. Love
Oh
it.
yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. Happy to be here. Super duper happy to be here. I'm pumped. Thank you for the invite. And can't wait to chop it up, my brother.
Yeah, man. I mean, all the stuff you're doing is amazing. Honestly. And there's so many different avenues and lanes I feel like you're in. And
That's
so
right.
that's why that's why I'm really intrigued about, kind of what is top of mind? What's going on in your world right now?
People always say like, Sakari, you're doing so many things. It doesn't feel like I'm doing that many things, but I guess I am. Top of mind, man. The number one purpose I think I'm doing right now is for Noble Promise Studios. That's my media platform. That's my media company. That's my Disneyland. That's my baby. That's everything. You know what I mean? I want to create a production, a platform for not only myself, right, but other emerging talent, right? Want to create my own platform for that. So I got tired of waiting for opportunities kind of just coming knocking at my door, which they have been coming just for the grace of God. But, you know, I want to be able to give other opportunities to other people, and just keep this train going.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing right now. We're building Noble Promise Studios, and I'm having the fun time of my life.
Yeah, man. And talk to us a little bit about what No Problem Studios does.
Right.
What's the mission behind it, and what do you guys
100%.
actually do?
100%. So my name, Sakari, in Swahili, it means noble promise, which means you have a
Okay.
promising future and that you keep to your word. So it started off as just a pop up, and then obviously I've been following Gary Vaynerchuk and his world and stuff like that, and it pivoted to more of a media production side. Content is a main
Hmm.
focus of what we do. And then also we're funding right now via NFTs, so people can go on noblepromisestudios.com, and we're also integrating a e-commerce store on the platform as well for people to be able to
Oh,
purchase
dope.
using their credit card, because NFTs, people are like, what's that? What's going on? All it is just a
Yeah.
digital collectible, digital pass. But I'm selling, I was on the phone right before I came on here, but like, I say it's like like Nipsey, you know, we're selling $100 mixtapes. You know what I mean? He was selling $100 CDs. I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of knocking on a VC's door, we're selling membership passes to Noble Promise Studios and the restaurant as well. So we want to have a studio in Brooklyn, you know, above the restaurant where we do podcasts, where we invite people, we showcase emerging
Oh,
talent,
that's dope.
rappers, artists, singers, you know what I mean? Everybody that's up and coming, we want to give them a platform. Up and coming chefs, you know, Food Network meets Revolt. That's the vibe, you know? And
Yeah.
on the and
Yeah.
then on and then on the bottom is going to be the restaurant. You know, that's going to be the restaurant where we do amazing food, which I've been doing my entire life. You know, I've been cooking for the past 14, 15 years. Started off at McDonald's when I was 15 years old. I came in on National Hiring Day in a suit. They hired me instantly on the spot. It was my first ever job I ever got. They're like, what are you doing in a suit? What's going on? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
man, I mean that job taught me about customer service. It taught me about, you know, the importance of a smile. What does that do to people, right? How does it open up people? How to have conversations? How to upsell? You know, all the things that you just kind of need when it comes to selling stuff in your life. And
Yeah.
you know, from there, I went to college. You know, got my bachelor's in restaurant management. Um, Graduated student chef of the year. Won a gold medal with Team USA. After leaving college, we went to Maria. I worked at Maria, which at the time had 2 stars, one of the best restaurants
Mhm.
in the city. I didn't know anything. I thought I knew everything coming out of culinary school, but you realize you don't know anything at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
You don't know anything, you know. But what I did know is that I had the drive and the work ethic. You know, I worked for an African American chef on Long Island named Mark Anthony Bynum. He really gave me the tools to be able to handle the city vibe. 'Cause that's where I'm from, is Long Island. So he gave me opportunity, you know, at a young age, right after McDonald's. I walked up in his restaurant at the time, and I said, "Hey man, I want to work for you for free." Everybody was chopping up vegetables, and they were like, "Wait, what? Who is this kid? What's going on?" You know what I mean? And what I did was
Yeah.
I was working at another catering hall, and I would leave the catering hall, and then I would go work with him at night. So as the cooks, you know, we're winding down or whatever the case is, he's still there. He's working on recipes, working on sauces, and all that type of stuff. I'm right there, right by his side, right by his hip, right there. And that has been, you know, the pedestal for me in my career to learn, being as close to the action, as close to the heat, as possible. You know what I mean? You learn so
Yeah.
much more
I
being
love
close to the
that.
heat. You know what I mean? You got to be
Yeah.
right there. So from there, you know, I mean, I went to Murray, I went to 11 Madison Park, which was at the time the number one restaurant in the world. Right when they got it, I helped reopen that restaurant. Uh, Man, I did a Black food chefs tour around the country, working for amazing African American chefs because I went to learn more about my culture. Um, you know, I got a Michelin star when I was 24 years old, so I came back and
Jeez.
I missed fine dining, and I helped my friend Marco. Him and I were working on a project, Restaurant Yukio, and you know, 15 seats. You know, everybody that came in that restaurant loved the food, um, but it wasn't sustainable. You know, small amount of seats. You know, no social media presence, etc. And because of that, I had to close. So even though I got a Michelin star and all that type of stuff, so from that experience, I said, man, I need to learn business, you know, and that's kind of why this whole thing of like, Sakari, you're doing so many different things. It's like, man, I want to
Yeah.
win. So if I want to win, I need to understand everything, you know?
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do we do everything. So I edit my own videos. I'm the person behind the camera. I'm the person in front of the camera. You know what I mean? I'm the person. I can't afford a PR person, so I'm sending out PR pitches right now as we speak. You know what I mean? Um, I'm cold emailing I'm working on Canva. You know, I do everything. But with that case, it's also important to have a team. So we built a team,
Yeah.
of amazing individuals. Moshe Douglas, who's founder of Peace and Parmesan, which is a streetwear brand. Um, Connected with him in college. He's one of the most amazing artists. He did a collaboration for Kobe.
Okay.
Hubo Watch. He did a Hubo Watch and Kobe collaboration NFT, and his art is incredible. So he's one of the featured artists for Noble Promise Studios, right? So
Mhm.
basically,
Mhm.
if you buy this pass to the restaurant and the studio, you actually can get his art shipped to you, which is incredible.
Mm.
We also have another artist, Kelsey Giddings, amazing painter, artist, muralist. He has a coloring book that's based on African American kids, and really want to showcase that our lifestyle. You know what I mean? And
Right.
coloring is such a therapeutic. I had no idea this, but coloring is such a therapeutic task, and it helps people really just like feel better. And
Yeah.
that's how we're putting therapy in the world. You know what I mean? So another thing that we're selling, right? $150 pass, you get a physical coloring book, and you can get to be a part of No Promise Studios, the experience. Be a membership, come to events for free that we host. We did a house kitchen event. We made it totally free for anyone that had this pass.
Okay.
We did an all white brunch as well in New Jersey. We made it totally free for anyone that has this pass, and we're gonna keep doing that as far as just providing value to people that want to support the movement of what we're building. And it's not
Yeah.
just for me;
Yeah.
it's for us. Because
Yeah.
it's so hard to knock down those walls. You know what I mean? And get into places. I've been able, with the gift of gab, or whatever you want to call it, I've been blessed with being myself and just being able to do what I do. I just want to help other people do that. And because
Yeah.
of opportunities, that's why I've gotten to the place that I have. I worked out in Europe for some time at one of the best restaurants in the Netherlands. Right now, currently, if you look at my background, usually you'll have a more eccentric background, but I'm in the office. You're like, what,
Yeah.
Sakari? You're a chef. What do you mean you're in the office? What are you talking about? You're like, what are you talking about? You're in the office? Well, I'm in the office with Gary Vaynerchuk, who is, to me, is one of the most influential people in the world, one of the most amazing marketers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And overall, just a good person, right? And going like I did in my career for cooking, getting close to the hip as every chef that I've ever worked for or with. I wanted to do the same thing with Gary. So I figured out ways to be able to learn marketing, learn business, and now I'm part of his team interning. And
Yeah.
28 years old, you're interning, you're Michelin star, you're on Hell Kitchen right now. Like what do you
Yeah.
mean you're like
Yeah.
what do you mean you're like interning in the office? What is that? But for me, going through the things that I went through in my life, I think business is so important to learn, instead and you don't have to be great at it. I mean, you gotta be good, but if you at
Yeah.
least understand the metrics, learn it, right? Then you can hire someone that's way more better, and that's what they were put on this earth to do. You know what I mean? Same
Yeah.
thing with
Yeah.
same thing with content, same thing with media, production, etc., etc., etc. You can always find the right talent to surround yourself with. Um,
Right.
but that takes time, and that's just part of building the thing. But I'm, you know, my father passed away last year, and it was one of the
Oh, I'm
most
sorry to
terrible
hear that,
things.
man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Jeez.
One of the most terrible things that's ever happened to me. Right? It's always like your biggest fear, right, bro? Like you're like, man, how's that gonna feel? What da 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 da, whatever. Never expected it, and what we did was we turned that pain into promise. We turned that pain into something positive. So we turned him into our mascot for our company, Noble Promise Studios, Noble Nate. And we
Yeah.
want to use it. We want to use him to help inspire kids to eat healthier, because I'm on this health journey right now, learning about my body, learning about what foods do for you. It's just part of being a chef, and
Mhm.
I want to put more better choices and like, because you got to start people out young, so it transforms.
Yeah.
I want to leave a real impact. So you just got to start people young, and I think using this animated cartoon, created as the mascot, my version of Ronald McDonald, to really help inspire kids to eat healthy, I think is the move, is the direction that we really want to go. Kids cookbooks, etc.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of things, but I'm doing everything to serve this purpose. And I think I was put on this earth for a reason. So I'm just here to make a difference.
Man, there you dropped so many gems just in that, and there's a lot to unpack. So, um holy crap. Well, first of all, I want to commend you for having that self-awareness to be able to say, "Hey, to be able to elevate myself, to be able to grow myself, I need to surround myself around the right people and not look out for the handout." You're like, dude, I will sit right here. I will stay late. I will do whatever it takes to learn and grow here so I can soak in this knowledge like a sponge to be able to apply it in different other capacities. And I think that a lot of people miss that part of success. That's actually kind of where it spawns from. You have to be always willing to learn and constantly reiterate, try again, and keep pushing it out there. And that's exactly what you're doing time and time again. Actually, that you shared like three examples in that kind of monologue, that you gave us with dropping those gems. But like, there's so
And you,
many different ways where you excelled.
and real quick, just to interject real quick, that is success though.
Yeah,
It's not on the journey to people get, people think success is the amount of followers you have or amount of money you make or da, da, da. But being able to chase your dreams, that to me is success. Like I remember I had like people seeing me on TV and like, oh my God, like congratulations on your success. And I had like imposter syndrome for a second. We're all human. We all
yeah,
we all go
yeah.
through
Of
things, right?
course, yeah, yeah.
I'm like success. I'm not successful. I'm like, I still gotta, do this. I still got so much growing to do. I got da 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 da. But then I thought about it, and I even said words like, oh no, I'm broke. But then I started thinking about it, right? And I'm like, no, broke is a mentality, right?
For
You're not
sure.
broke. Broke
Yep.
is a mentality, and I feel like I'm rich because I'm happy and fulfilled. You know what I mean? And I
Mhm,
feel like I am
mhm.
successful because I'm chasing my dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And it's a
yeah,
never-ending rat race. You know what I'm saying?
for
It's
sure.
even when I get to what I think is made it, it's always going to be the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the
Of
next thing. So,
course.
you know what I'm saying? Because it just
It's
being
more the
part of
journey. You gotta enjoy that journey, man.
that's what
You
it is,
have
bro.
to, because
That's what it
you
is.
have to, like, celebrate even the smallest moments, of ups
100%.
and downs, because that's
100%.
all part of building you up. So, let's talk real quick about, Hell's Kitchen season 21.
Yeah.
So first, I got two-part questions. So one is, how in the world did that happen? And the second is, so I have a very interesting story where I had the pleasure and kind of the blessing through COVID to be able to be getting coaching session from Marcus Lemonis. And he has a big TV show called The Prophet. He owns Camping World and several other businesses. Huge, huge celebrity star. And so through COVID on IG, he picked my name randomly, completely random. He's just giving game to a lot of different businesses. Picked my, he's like, Jamar Jones, this sounds interesting. And he picked it up
Love
and he's
it.
like, how far are you away from the office? And I was only like an hour and 30 or hour and 15 minutes away from the Camping World's headquarters. Went down there. He like ripped my heart out and put it back in. It was just absolutely crazy insane to get that
Wow.
experience. So my second question to the Hell's Kitchen is, what is that like with Gordon Ramsay in your face, and how intimidating, or how does it feel like, hey, I'm here once again to soak it in that game, to understand kind of what I need to do to level up in my journey.
Right. So to answer your first question, they reached out to me via Instagram. They saw the content I was putting out, which is why I try to tell people about putting out content. I think it's so important.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
all con all content is you telling your story, and you sharing your art. And it's like if you believe in your art, if you believe in what you do in your story, like you need to share it with people. It's not about anything else. So they saw that. They reached out to me. Um, I didn't even know, I was familiar with Hell's Kitchen, but like I've never watched a season or anything like that. It wasn't something that was on my bucket list per se.
hmm
However, obviously go through an intensive application process and things like that. I remember during the interview, they asked me a couple questions, and I remember I said something along the lines of like, I don't care about like the TV thing or good TV or whatever. I if you put me on this show, I'm gonna win it. And I'm here to win it. And then they
yeah,
they stopped the interview right there. They're like, all right, we had enough. And I'm like, wait, what? Did I not get it? Like, it's like what? I'm like, I was like, up. I was just like, up. I guess it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Like that's just that type of thing. A couple weeks go by, whatever cases, I get a phone call saying you've been considered, and you made it basically. Start crying, whatever case is, and I remember actually crazy story. I remember my father passed away during the application process,
Oh my
and
God.
I remember texting one of the producers the day that I got home from the hospital, the same day. I said, "Listen, my father just passed away. I need to be on this show to make him proud, to show him." You know what I mean? I said that the
Wow.
same day, and by the grace of God, whatever the case is, I made it on the show. And for me, I just wanted to have a platform to tell my story and show what I do and things like that. I'm so happy that I did it because the friendships, the relationships that I've built with other contestants on the show, people that's associated with the show is incredible. The brand recognition that Hell's Kitchen has built over the reputation of 21 seasons is incredible. And then obviously going to your second question, Gordon Ramsay, one of the most influential, one of the most
Yeah.
well-known, respected chefs. He's one of the few chefs that actually, a personality chef, TV personality chef, some people might call him or think of that, but he's a real chef.
Yeah.
He
No. Yeah.
he he's
100.
no, like there's no like don't get it twisted. Like this isn't
Yeah. Of
like
course.
you know what I mean? This isn't no, he has 3 Michelin stars for some odd years for a reason. You know what I mean? He's birthed chefs like, you know, Claire Smith, who has another 3 Michelin stars, you know what I mean? In London, one of
Yeah.
the first female chefs to ever have it. So he's a real chef, and it's a real deal when he's tasting your food and critiquing it. So for him to taste my food and respect it, to see me and my skills, understand where I come from, and show a level of respect towards me, you know,
Yeah.
not just for people validating me, but just for my own self confidence.
Mhm. Mhm.
Incredible, And one thing I told myself in the show was like, I can't be intimidated. I can't be intimidated by this guy. I'm just cooking
Yeah.
for another chef. I can't think about all the whatever. I just have to be like, I'm cooking for another chef, in which I've done my entire life, I've done my entire career.
Yeah.
There's a clip where I made my signature dish for him, and that's what I said. I'm like, I'm not really nervous. I'm just excited, to share my art with the world, and this is my art. And I shared my art, and he loved it, and I'm just happy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy, man. Such a enlightening experience, for you to go through that. Um And so now, kind of in the space of where you're at today, so now you said you're also working at Vayner. So that was another crossover of circles because I saw that you kind of went to an event that he had at Macy's and took a picture, and then I
Ah,
had also went to an event and took a picture in Chicago. And so um and also we had some experience with Vayner because we were close with Vanessa Vining, which was the chief diversity officer at for Vayner X, and so they sponsored our conference that we did, Lead the Movement Business Conference here in Milwaukee,
wow,
Wisconsin. So
wow.
that was kind of so then when I met Gary, I gave him my book and got to dap him up for a second. And then I saw you posted something, and I was like, and I thought it was at the same thing, but it was actually in New York. So
Right,
it was two
correct.
different it was two different
Yep.
ones. So how did your how did you I'm all about changing circles. So how did you kind of get your way in the door at VaynerMedia to be able to, have that opportunity to intern and kind of just soak it in once again, soak in that knowledge to change your circle.
Mhm. Crazy story. I uh I knew I had to provide value, right? Gary talks about providing value to people, and that's something
Yeah.
that this year I'm really focused on, really building my relationships and providing value to people, right? Because I'm good, I'm fulfilled. It's not about money, it's not about this, not about that. I'm good. So if I'm good, I can give, And when you
Yeah.
give, that's how you build things. That's how you build relationships. That's how you build businesses. That's how you do everything fulfilling life.
Yeah.
So I gave Gary a basketball card, a 1948 rookie card from George Mikan, the first celebrity basketball player. Because I was doing research, of Gary. I was like, well, he really wanted that card. He really, really, really
Okay.
wanted that card. It was like one of the most rare cards, whatever the case is. It was. I didn't even have the money. I bought it on credit. I saw it. I saw a similar card.
Jeez.
So there's two additions to the card. There's the one that's like worth like millions, and there's another one that's same year that's worth a lot less more money, right? So
Okay.
I paid about $800 for it or whatever the case is, and
Jeez.
it was the most expensive card in my collection, and I was trying to sell it to him, because I thought, I thought this is how I was gonna be a millionaire. I was like, this
Yeah,
is how I'm gonna
yeah.
be a millionaire. You know what I mean? I was like, all
Yeah,
right, I'm gonna sell him the card, and he's gonna want to buy it. I think it's $1 million card, so I created a documentary. It's on YouTube. You can search it up. It's Noble Promise Presents George Mikan documentary, whatever the case is. And I made a documentary with my friends at like literally at my friend's house. We did some shots, whatever the case is, and I explained or presented my case of like why this was $1 million car. All these sports cards were going crazy. You know what I mean? I was like,
yeah.
oh, this is it. I'm like, oh man, this is it. Long story short, I tried to get him the card, reached out to people, eventually got the card in front of him. He didn't want it. And I was blown away. I was tore a new one. I was defeated. And I was texting my friends at the time, and I was like, man, it sucks, whatever. And anyway, I was like, we're gonna try again. So what I did was I got the card regraded. It was at an 8 from a GAI, which is like an old case or old company, whatever case is. I think that's why he didn't want it. And it went from an 8 to a 5. So that's a big
Okay.
jump for people that don't understand about sports cars. It's a big jump from being 8, which is like the highest you can get is a 10, to being a
Yeah.
5. So I was like, man, this isn't $1 million card anymore. you know,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
it's, this isn't $1 million card. So it was a 5. So what I did was I was like, I'm just gonna give it to him. So he posted up one day that he was gonna be outside his office giving away stuff. I literally had an event the next day, woke up so that I literally just threw on my sweatpants. I took a video. You can see all this stuff on Noble Promise Studios on the YouTube. You can see the entire journey. I mean, literally like
Yeah,
going up, and I
that's
was
dope.
vlogging the whole thing. Got it, met Gary, and I was like, man, I've been trying to get you this car for months. He's like, this is for me? I was like, yeah, bro, this is for you. So he loved it, whatever the case is. The reason why I tell that story is because a year goes by, and he comes out with this thing called the Sorcerer Scholarship. This is a mentorship program that he gave away. So not only do you get a very valuable NFT, if you win this thing, 5 people were selected out of hundreds of thousands of people, and so not only do you get this NFT that's worth a lot of money, but you also get a mentorship, 5 sessions with Gary, and you also get connected to everybody, 30 hours of people in this network. So I've met with Matt Higgins, I've met with Maha, I've met with different people in this network, etc.
Yeah, yeah.
So so basically, I apply for the social scholarship and I get denied. I don't get it. I
Jeez.
I I I I get denied. I was feeling self-righteous. I was like, man, I gave him this basketball card. He has to pick me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
right.
I get denied. I see Andy, who's the president of V Friends, one of his companies in the street at NFT NYC. I just start talking to Andy. Andy stops me halfway, telling my story. McDonald's, this, the third. He's like, yo, I read your essay. He's like, I was one of the people that read your essay. It's like, really? He's like, yeah, man, I love your story, man. Like, kind of keep pushing type of situation. Later that day,
Yeah,
they throw a secret wine party. He makes sure I gets into the party, which was like love. I talked to him at the party. I said, man, I got denied, but listen, like, I'm not even going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to show you. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and tell you why I deserve or da 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 da. I'm just going to show you,
right.
and I'll see you in 10 years. That type of energy. He just kind of nods his head, and he's like, that's why you made it to the second round. Like, that's good. Kind of
Yeah.
walked away or whatever. I didn't know what to think or what to expect. And next thing I know, Gary retweets out that card that I got him from 2 years
Okay.
ago, a year ago. This is where it's all coming back together. It's all coming back
Yeah,
together.
it's
So
crazy.
so Gary retweets the card and he says obsessed. So he doesn't tag me. He doesn't even. I just like it. Whatever the case is, I'm like. But the fact that I provided him with value and the fact that he was enjoying it, and it was literally a picture can like his cover, his new issue. Like, it was very, he really enjoyed it, and he said obsessed. And I said, man, I'm so happy that this is something that you
Yeah.
cherish. Whatever the case is. Next thing I know, I get an email saying you've been reconsidered for the Sorcerer Scholarship, like 2 days after the tweet. And then next thing, and then they're like, "I'm sure you're confused." I'm like, "I'm very confused." And I was so pissed at that point because I thought like I deserved it or whatever, and I was just I was kind of over it in a sense. You know what I mean? I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, that
I
makes
was like,
sense.
forget this stuff, man. I don't need anybody. I'm gonna win regardless. Like that's where my energy
Right.
was. You know what I mean? So I go in the interview and I tell him just that. Listen, I don't need this. I don't need this scholarship. So I went in there. I was like, I don't need this. I want it. You know what I'm saying? And like, this is why,
Right.
and da 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 da. You know, but I'm gonna win regardless. You know, and what does this do? It gives me opportunity to do that, and this is the impact that I want to leave, and this is what I want to do to change the world, and so on and so on. And I
Mhm.
won and I won the scholarship. I won it, which for me
Dude.
which for me was a big thing. So to answer your question, how do I get in the ecosystem? What comes with that is an internship. What comes with that is 5 mentor sessions with Gary. What comes with that is 30 hours with executives and people that are influential in business and tech and so on and so forth.
Dude.
And that's what I'm going through now. So uh here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, that I mean, that's priceless, man. To Man, you just have a lot of grit, man. You got a lot of grit, about you. Just like I will not quit attitude. Um, Even when everything is kind of stacked against you almost, you you look at situations almost from a different lens of like, how can I maximize this opportunity? Or no matter what happens, I will find a way. I will find a way to make this happen. And a lot of times that doesn't just come naturally. So where did you get that from? Like where did that energy come from? How did you get that mentality?
I think like growing up as a kid, there was a point where like my mom said yes to everything. My mom was like, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, you know, you're like, you're cute, you're adorable. Yes, 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 yes. And then it just changed out of nowhere. And then she started saying no. And I'm like, no? What's that? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
once she started telling me no, I just try to figure out ways to turn into a yes. And I've been doing that since I was a kid, you know, and over some odd years, you gain the confidence to keep doing it when you start to prove people wrong. When I was to become a chef, everybody told me I was stupid. You know, why are you gonna try to become a chef? Like they don't make any money, this, and the third, you know. And then I had to show them. I had to go be on Food Network's Chopped. You know, I had to go win these gold medals. I had to go have people taste my food and really enjoy it. I had to show them. You know, sometimes people don't
Yeah.
see the vision. Sometimes people don't see the vision for yourself or whatever. They can't see it. So it's not about trying to convince them that you're right or this is the thing. You just got to show people, you know what I mean? And even now, with what I'm doing right now, Sakari, you're a chef. Why don't you go be a chef at a restaurant somewhere? You know, people have reached out to me and want me to do chef things, but I'm like,
Yeah.
because people can't see what I see. And what I see is I'm building something for the long term. I'm building a platform to help other people make it easier for people to showcase and share their art because
Yeah.
it's just not around. You know, people look at blue checks, people look at you know, how many files you have, this and third. Like, forget all that type of stuff. Forget the gatekeepers. Why are we have
Yeah.
gatekeepers that tell you you're good or bad or whatever the case is? Let's spread love. Let's spread love.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Yeah.
deserve the opportunity? You know what I mean? Russell Westbrook says it. Russell Westbrook and then Kevin Hart just shared this at one of the last podcasts. Why not? Why not? That's the answer to
Yeah.
everything. Why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not? So it just
I
started off
love it.
as a young age, man, and been grinding since.
Dude. Man, there's so many different avenues. Like I could go so deep into like a lot of things that you're doing. And it's just so inspiring. Oftentimes I get to interview and talk with so many amazing people, different stories, and it kind of like I hear kind of these common trends as people are in these different journeys within their own life, and like you are sharing some very essential things that people really need to get a grasp of if they want to achieve anything in life. Um, and I think that they can learn a lot from what you got going on. So what is next for you? As you're obviously, Hell's Kitchen season is still going. You got you're working at Vayner, you got your Noble Promise Studios building, you're learning different skill sets, you're meeting new people. Like, what is next, man? What is next? The NFTs. I forgot to mention the NFTs. So, like, what's next for you, man?
What's next is my main focus is building this thing because the amount of feeling that you get when people actually support your art and they buy it, you have a right, and you have what is the word?
Obligation.
Obligation. That's the right word. There we
Yeah.
go. There it is.
Yeah.
You have an obligation. Thank you for picking that up. You have an
Yeah.
obligation. You have something, a promise. That's what noble promise. You have a promise, to people. And I just want to fulfill that promise. So when people decide to buy my art and support me, it means the world to me, and I'm humbled by it. And I have
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that everything works out. Like I will die behind noble promise. I have no problem saying that because people believed in me, and people are believing in me, and I have
Right.
to fulfill that. I have to fulfill that order. So whatever it takes to make sure that that happens, I will. And so what's next is building Noble Promise Studios. It's still building. It's happening live. We're at, I don't know, like 2,000 subscribers at YouTube. I
Yeah.
can't wait to clip this up, and 10 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 3 years from now, or a year, whatever it is. But like
Yeah.
that full circle moment, you know what I mean? But we're building something special and something that I believe in. And I think it's something that can go global. I think it's something that could reach a lot of people. I think, I want to do kids at animations. I want to be able to create my own version
Yeah.
of Proud Family. I want to create my own version of Proud Family using Noble
Oh
Nate as a
man.
character.
Yeah.
Um, I want to do some really cool stuff. I want to leave an impact. So what's next is just
Yeah.
continuing the journey, man. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's amazing, man. I love the ambition too, just to go big, man. It's
Why
great.
not?
I'm all about that. Yeah, why not? I'm all about that, man. I mean, that's the essence, man. I love it. I love it. Well, it's been great kicking with you, man. Definitely stick on after. We'll chop it up for a second. Where can people find you at if they want to learn more about what you got going on?
100%. So Sakari Smithwick, just my name, Sakari Smithwick, Smithwick. Sometimes people say their name and it's so fast you can't get it, so I had to slow it down
Yeah.
for y'all. You know what I mean? But my name across everywhere, uh, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Noble Promise Studios on YouTube, Noble Promise Studios on TikTok, Noble Promise Studios on Instagram, everywhere. Those are the places that you can find me. Twitter, etc. Come through, come say hello. Let me know. Hey, I listened to the podcast, and what was your favorite clip? Share what your favorite moment was from this podcast. Let us know. You know what I mean? Let us know what you enjoyed from here. What do you want to know more? What's some of the questions that we didn't get into? Like, let us know.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely hit him up because, he will respond, just give him some time, but he wants to respond, and that's what's amazing by, certain people. Like, man, you never know who will actually respond to you. So I always say, if you want to change your circle, you got to take a shot. You got to take action. You can't just change your circle by just sitting there. So definitely reach out and hit Sakari up, and yeah, you never know what can happen. So thank you everybody for watching. Definitely like, comment, share, subscribe to the podcast everywhere where we're streaming. And don't forget, you can change your circle to change your life. All right, we're out until the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell for more amazing content that we're going to be putting out. And don't forget, you can change your circle to change your life.